Celtic, Rangers, and Hearts finished top three in the Scottish League, and Burnley, Sheffield United, and Luton finished bottom three in the Premier League. So, what I did is I swapped them round because many people would say that the Premier League is very strong and that the bottom teams could win the Scottish League, and the other way around, many people say Rangers and Celtic would do very well in the Premier League. So, I swapped them around just to see what would happen. So, if we get into it, if we go into the Premier League first, you can see that Man City won it with 100 points, Liverpool second. But if we're looking at the Scottish teams, Celtic finished with respectable 12th, which is not too bad, considering they finished against some decent teams in Brentford, Fulham, Bournemouth, Everton, and Wolves. But as you can see down here, Rangers and Hearts got relegated, so not necessarily doing the best. So if we go into Celtic first, if we go into transfer history, we can see that they made some signings, nothing major. Um, so they spent a bit of money in the league to try and stay in the league. If we go into competitions, let's see who were their best players. So Kyogo was their top goal scorer, who is one of their main goal scoring threats in the Scottish League as well. In the FA Cup, they did decent. They finished in the quarterfinals. They got knocked out by Brighton, who are a decent team, and they were still in the Champions League, and they got knocked out in the group stages. So they did pretty well considering all of that. If we go into Rangers now, let's see who they bought, anyone of note. No one really. Well, they got a few on loan, like Carlos Vela. Everyone knows about him. He tore it up in America. Ogbonna, decent signing, very experienced. Someone from Inter Milan as well. But yeah, not enough to keep them in the league. If we go into their competitions, we see that Danilo was their top goal scorer, and Fabio Silva was the top goal scorer in the FA Cup. They got knocked out by Liverpool, which you would expect because Liverpool are quite strong. And in the Champions League, they didn't make it far at all, and they got knocked out in the group stages in the Europa League. So not the best of seasons for Rangers fans. And last but not least, Hearts, who you wouldn't expect to be the greatest in the league, but they did finish third. That's why I put them in here. If you go into transfers, you see they didn't really sign anyone apart from Elliot Emberton from Sunderland, and that's it really. And if we go into competitions, their top goal scorer was Shankland, who, I don't know, he's a striker. He's probably one of their main threats. I don't really know a lot about Hearts, I'm not going to lie to you. And in the Europa Conference, they got knocked out by HNK, who's a Croatian team. So they didn't do the greatest. But yeah, Celtic, out of the Scottish teams, done the best. So Celtic fans would be happy. And maybe that's proof that Celtic could last in the Premier League and obviously get more money from playing in the Premier League. And maybe could then go on to bigger and better things. So if we go into the Scottish League now, Scottish card. I don't want Scottish card. Let's just go. How are we gonna do this? Wait, let me type in Burnley because I put them into the Scottish Premiership, and as you can see, they actually won the Scottish title. So they beat all the other Scottish teams. Sheffield United finished second, and Luton finished fourth. So the bottom three of the Prem finished in the top four, with the two of them finishing in the top two, which shows how strong the Premier League is. So if we go to Burnley first, did they buy anyone of note? No, they just got a load of loan signings in to help them. And if we go to competitions, you see obviously they won the league. Sorry, I'm stumbling. They got the Scottish Cup final. I haven't seen that far, but you would say they would be favourites for that, so they should win that. They finished in the semi-finals of this cup. They got knocked out by Rangers, obviously because Rangers are still in that. I didn't change that in the settings, but Burnley steamed the Scottish League. If we go back and look at Sheffield United now, did Sheffield United buy anyone of note? They got Dalbert, who played in the German league, I believe. Bellarabi played in the German league, and they got this guy on loan who's a youngster. So they got a few people and not many. But but it was still enough for them to finish second in the league. Well, I would say, they got knocked out in the quarterfinals by Hibs, so they wouldn't be too happy with that. And then they got knocked out by Red Rovers, so they wouldn't be happy with that. And Brereton Diaz was their top goal scorer, who did really well for them in real life when he joined from January. So it shows how strong the English teams are compared to the Scottish teams. And if you look at the last one, Luton, they finished fourth. Did they buy anyone? They got a couple on loan, and they've got Christie from Hull, which is decent. He's a decent fullback. And if we look into the competitions, Jacob Brown was their top goal scorer, who's decent. I'm surprised it wasn't their captain. I can't remember his name. He scored a few in the Premiership. Scottish Cup, they got knocked out by Burnley, who are probably the strongest team in the Scottish League now since I swapped them round. And in the Cup, they got knocked out by Dundee, so they wouldn't be happy with that. But yeah, as you can see in the Scottish League, they finished in the top two. So the argument that Scottish teams could make it in the Prem and the Premier League is not that much stronger than the Scottish division, you could argue that that's false. The Premiership seems to be a lot stronger, because if the bottom three are finishing in the top four, and especially the top two, and the other way around, Scottish teams in the Premiership, only one of them didn't get relegated, it shows the strength of the league. But yeah, hopefully you liked the video. There's more videos like this on the channel. Yeah, take care. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But yeah, take care and peace.